Hi everyone, so my name is Margaret Miles. Here is my ID. So I'm going to be talking today about the role of cats throughout history. So many of us have pets. Sometimes it's cats, sometimes it's dogs, sometimes it's reptiles, sometimes it's fish, but we all have a pet that we love. And cats hold a special place in my heart, clearly, by my two cuties in the picture. So cats have been useful to humans throughout history. Primarily we've used them to chase away vermin, snakes, scorpions, and we've elevated them to God's stature, just as the Egyptians have shown us, as they had gods depicted after their cats. So I'd like to talk today about what they've done and what other groups have done to show their love for cats, and how they kind of took a downturn in the Middle Ages and then were re-elevated during the Enlightenment period. So, starting with the Egyptians, actually start with the Mesopotamians. Many people think that Egyptians were the ones that first domesticated cats, but actually it was tens of thousands of years before the Egyptians with the Mesopotamians, and they domesticated them for the same reasons that everyone else did, was because they kept away vermin, and vermin were the ones that, polluted society. Today we don't have to worry about that because we have pest control, but before, cats were their version of pest control. So it was important for each household to keep, cats around the house to make sure that they were able to chase away the things that would make their family sick and that would, bring them harm. And that was part of the reason why they were elevated to the stature that they were, was because something that could, help keep their families safe is clearly something that they, need to, maybe not necessarily worship, but some countries definitely, societies went to that extreme and worshipped their pets, and specifically their cats. As shown here, the first god that the Egyptians fashioned after cats was Mafdet, and then after that, the most commonly known was Bastet. Both of them were, gods of fertility and, happiness. Well, one of them was, but not both of them. But Egyptians went extreme. They believed that cats' lives were more important than human lives. They would actually, if a house was burning, they would form a ring around the house and send in people to go save the cat, not having any regard for the human life involved. They actually mummified their cats to show what status they viewed cats should be in the afterlife, because that was really what they were working to getting towards, was the afterlife. They created many statues and gods and just believed that they were the most important thing for them. And an interesting fact was that was actually used against them in, future times. The Persians used cats to actually help invade their cities. They painted images of cats on their shields and chased a herd of cats in front of their armies, because the Egyptians were so afraid of killing a cat, because that meant death, that they would rather surrender their own city than actually kill a cat. But after this time period, we moved into the Middle Ages, and when the Christian church rose to power, Pope Gregory believed that he wanted to get rid of the pagan symbols, and cats were a very large one. So he painted cats as satanic animals and said that they were witches' familiars, and actually, there was a purge, essentially, of cats. And during this time, interestingly enough, the bubonic plague came about. And even though it hasn't been proven specifically, a lot of people have drawn parallels between the bubonic plague and cats existing. But luckily enough, that wasn't always the case, and we moved into the age of enlightenment, and people put more thought into science than they did the church, essentially, and they realized how important cats were to their lives and to maintaining their health. And also, you have Queen Victoria, who was known as a dog person, actually took a liking to cats and got her own cats, thus re-promoting them in society, because a lot of people wanted to be like her. And then we have today. Today, they are considered our pets. They are a multi-billion-dollar industry of people creating likenesses of them, or we also have Grumpy Cat and all sorts of things that lead to the animal that we have today, which is our cute, cuddly creatures that sometimes are friendly and sometimes aren't. But it's interesting to think of everything that they have done to help promote our health and wellness through the past, that they have had instrumental part in making sure that we stayed healthy and that we weren't afflicted with vermin and fleas and whatnot. Yeah. Thank you for listening.